This is Ashley at Portland Wellness Care, and today I just want to go through a little mini sequence of stretches and relaxing poses that one can be just practicing at the end of the day or even as a break during the day if you're feeling really stiff or tight or feeling a little aggravation in some of the muscles that are spasming if you're dealing with some low back problems. So we're going to start on our backs here. First thing I want to show is just a few pelvic tilts to help increase the mobility in the low back and just kind of make sure everything feels really stable and also really open and relaxed. This will also build a little bit more awareness of the connection through your spine to your hips and up through your chest and shoulders. So for this one, it's very similar to cat camel or cat cow if you've ever heard of those poses. It's just spinal flexion extension. So when you're here, you can have your hands resting over your belly and your abdomen or even on the points of your hips. Then as you inhale, you're just going to think about pointing your tailbone down to the ground, feeling your back curving away from the floor. And on the exhale, you'll pull the belly in, tilt the pelvis backwards, and your tailbone will start to point upwards at the ceiling. So the inhale, the tailbone points down, and the exhale, the tailbone points up. And you'll feel your whole spine moves with that motion. We'll do a few rounds of this, creating a little more mobility and awareness through the low back and the pelvis. And once you've completed a few rounds of this, about 10 or so with your breaths, you'll find a place right in between the two extremes of extension and flexion to come back to your neutral pelvis. So there should be just a little gap between your back and the floor, but not a crazy big one, and there shouldn't be no gap, just a little space. From here, it's always nice to mobilize through the hips and the low back with a little spinal twist. So there's a few ways to do that. One that I really like that's very simple is just feet right where they are, hips distance apart, letting your knees sway down to one side. You'll notice the pelvis rotates a little bit with this, and so do the thighs, and the back gets just a little gentle twist. From here, you can sway up through center and go the other way very easily. Coming back to center. Another way you can do this is with your feet scooted all the way together. This will just make it a slightly bigger twist through the spine and a little bit less movement through the hips themselves. So the whole pelvis will rotate over. You just drop your legs over as far as they can go. And if you want to take this stretch more up into the chest and the shoulders, you can open your arms out like a big capital letter T, or even like a cactus shape. Lastly, if you want to incorporate neck and head, you can turn your head the opposite way from your knees to get a full spine twist here. One final version I really like is one leg straight, other knee in towards the chest or as close as you can get for a little squeeze, and then you can take that whole knee across your body to the opposite side. This one I really like to pair with the other arm reaching out behind so you get a really full stretch for the whole chest. And I'll finish by turning my head opposite 90 again. It's a good idea to hold this for 3, 4, maybe 5 nice slow breaths, just getting a good rinse, helping to compress and squeeze some of the organs inside, and also helping to relax some of the muscles and tissues around your spine and through your core, your chest, and the hips. To come out, just rolling back to center, making sure you switch sides so you're feeling really balanced. It's also a good idea to pay attention to how you are physically. If you have a dominant side, like a right-handed person, sometimes the right side of the chest will be tighter. So you can spend more time in the twist going to the left with your right chest opening if you need to. So those are just a couple of really simple options for how to move through the spine. One more stretch I want to show you is just an opener for the outsides of the hips. These can get really tight when we spend all day in chairs sitting down. So this is just a figure 4 stretch, sometimes called eye of the needle. You can cross one ankle over the opposite knee, making sure you keep your foot flexed up or dorsiflexed as we say, so you're stabilizing your knee by activating your ankle. Then you'll just push that knee away from you. To make a slightly deeper stretch, you can draw the thighs closer to you using your arms to pull in. Another easy way to do this if you don't want to work so hard with your arms is just to slide your foot against a wall or a chair or some surface to provide pressure from below to stretch the outside of the hip. The hip that's being stretched will be the one with the knee that's bending on top. So from your perspective, if I switch sides, I'm now stretching the outside of this hip. One more way to figure out where you're tightest is just to sway your knees a little bit from side to side, finding the angle that works best to stretch that back pocket region. So those are just a couple ways to relax and wind down in the evening or during the day whenever you're feeling stressed and really tight. This will just help you come back to your breath and loosen up your body a little bit so that you can keep going or just fully relax getting ready for bed. Hopefully this helps.